this one's drive and
Successfully reversed.
Yeah.
I'm in a boot.
Yeah.
So I took the, I can get
My wife got accepted
straight
to a
here.
medical college, start recording.
Congrats.
Okay.
Here.
So, this is the, Monday, September 8th. Meeting of the Parks Recreation Advisory Committee meeting, called to order. And Marsh, you want to start? Bob Dolphin.
Russ Williams.
Molly Wilson.
Lena Woods.
Hey, Martha.
Jason George.
That's
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is my special guest, Noah Johns, and John, Public Works Director.
John, clerk, you at the attendance meeting, man? Any comments? I look, I
I thought
didn't see anything.
something,
I didn't see.
it wasn't of substance.
Okay.
I found a typo somewhere.
Anybody for motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. With that,
And so, thank you, Chair. So I have a special guest tonight. As you can see, the minutes didn't quite add up to 60, so I have a special guest here. This is Noah Johns, a 15-year-old resident of City of Fairview, who approached staff with a wonderful idea for possibly funding for a basketball court in our city park at our community park, which is adjacent across the street from City Hall. So Noah is a resident, like I said, in Fairview, in the community center area village here. So with that, I'll let him get started, and he has about a 5-minute kind of an proposal, so to speak, and have some time to answer questions from folks. So Noah, go ahead.
Well, thank you all for having me today. Like I said, my name's Noah Johns. I've lived here for about 7 years, and I love basketball personally. To me, basketball isn't just a sport; it's a way communities connect. And here in Fairview, I believe that we have an opportunity to build something that would bring our neighborhood together, keep kids safe, and really strengthen our community. I'm here tonight to propose the construction of a basketball court, specifically placed behind the gazebo in Fairview City Park. A quick look at the history of basketball shows why it's been special. It was invented in 1891 by a Dr. James Naismith, who was trying to give his students at the YMCA a safe, fun activity. From a peach basket and a soccer ball, basketball has grown to become the third most popular sport in the entire world. But it hasn't really changed its purpose. It's still supposed to be a safe and fun, healthy way for people of all ages to connect. And that's why I believe Fairview needs a court of its own. Right now, the closest basketball court to residents that live in this area is Reynolds Elementary School. To get there, kids have to walk along a main busy road. That creates a situation where parents don't feel comfortable letting their children go alone, and kids end up without a safe place to play. A neighborhood court would fix that problem. Fairview, as well, isn't short on residents who would use it. As of an early 2025 census, our community has nearly 1,800 residents under the age of 18. That's 1,800 kids and teens who could be spending their afternoons in Fairview, staying safe and active, making friends, and building their skills right here in the neighborhood. And the community agrees. I personally knocked on doors throughout Fairview, and 90% or 97% of the people asked said they are in favor of a basketball court. I believe it's close to unanimous as you'll get. But the benefits don't really stop with the kids either. A basketball court would serve as a gathering place for families, teens, and adults. It would encourage a healthy lifestyle, help neighbors connect, and give parents peace of mind knowing that their kids are safe and close to home. As for the city itself, it means people staying in Fairview, playing, spending time together, and even supporting local businesses. Players get thirsty and hungry, and when they do, they'll stop by shops here in our own neighborhood. The location I'm suggesting specifically behind the gazebo is currently an underused issue that has drainage issues. Converting it into a court would not only solve those problems, but also turn that wasted space into one of the most valuable assets we have as a community. As for funding, I don't believe that this cost needs to come entirely from city funds. It's an expensive project, but local businesses such as Target or Lolo's could contribute in exchange for recognition, whether that's a sign, a painted logo, or even naming rights for the court. That way we create a lasting benefit for Fairview while also building partnership with local businesses. In short, this project would be an investment in safety, health, and a community. It's a chance to give our kids a safe place to grow, to provide families with a space to gather, and to show that Fairview is committed to building a stronger future together. So tonight, I respectfully ask you to consider this proposal. We build a basketball court behind the gazebo in Fairview City Park and give our community yet another place that we can be proud of.
Good job.
Thank you.
And I think, what Noah was touching on the funding, we know the general fund and Parks Fund is, at its limits at this point. But I think he brought up a great idea. I mean, look at all these sports teams that are doing it with their ballparks, from Safeco Field, which is now.
This one's drawn as a school. I took them. I can get my wife to accept it here.
I'll start recording.
Okay.
Some feedback there. All right, so with that, so Safeco Field, I mean, you look at Moda Center, and I don't know what it's called now, but they changed the names. They have sponsors that are, funding these major facilities. I think Noah brings up a good point where we could dive into our local businesses, from Target to Lolo's. It doesn't matter, a big corporation or a small mom and pop business that is thriving in our community, to put a placard up there, funded by Target Corporation or funded by Lolo's Pizza. And we could have an agreement, maybe it's a 5-year agreement. And then every 5 years, maybe we go out and solicit other folks to get their name on that for maybe some of the maintenance of the project. So Noah and I, again, he approached staff. We met and we both have been doing a little bit of research on basketball courts, outdoor basketball courts. How much they cost? Anywhere between $80,000 to $200,000, give or take. I mean, you could get, crazy with the surface and the painting and the colors, all the way to the fencing around the facility. You could do lights. You want to do other amenities. Our park is in a great location. We have sewer, we have water, we have power. So 3 things that usually are kind of the high cost, which we have access to all of that. We have our water main, our sewer main, and we have power running. So again, just giving a little more depth to what Noah was saying. So I will shut up now and let you all talk with Noah and maybe throw some questions his way and or some comments.
Usually when you approach businesses, I mean, the small businesses that you're talking about, you might get $2,500, $5,000 or something. You're not going to get 50 grand, so I think to go there, you'd almost have to try to get the Blazers or the Fire to sponsor you, to buy in on it, we're not, it's not in the central of a low economic area, but Fairview itself is a low economic area. So if you look at the census tract, it meets those qualifications. So that you have some ground there to possibly get a grant. I mean, if you want to possibly fund half of it, but I'm just going to small businesses. I'm not sure you're going to.
Like you get $500 donations.
Make a big chunk,
Yeah, Target's a good possibility. maybe some other basketball entities, like I said. I'd like to say, great proposal, thank you.
It is a great proposal. When you did your door-to-door survey, did you do that here in the village or what area did you cover?
I did that just all throughout the neighborhood. I kind of skipped over streets to make sure that it wasn't just one specific area.
It's great.
And Noah literally walked around, talked to almost everybody, I think. You know, Bob, there's a couple things, and having a little bit of experience in this, because we did some things on this day I worked in, but you know, it could be, there's a lot of models. Noah's already talked to a lot of people to be willing to help donate. He's already got a lot of people to be willing to do that. You know, there's a couple things. There's capital and there's ongoing. I mean, capital alone, you could set up a situation where people donate $5, you know, or you could have people donate over $100, get a brick, or, you know, where you have people, businesses over $500 get their name on a plaque on the side or something. And then you could eventually have an ongoing, if you have ongoing costs, we could have sponsors and it's, you know, over the years, so there's a lot of possibilities that Noah met with John and I and, you know, our team, we looked at that, and one of the things that John had recommended he come to BRAC to talk to you because I felt like this would be a really good place for him to start to kind of see what your thoughts were. So,
Yeah,
but there are a lot of things.
it's a great idea. You know,
It's a great idea.
I don't know much about grants, but Bob's point is well taken. Sometimes there are grants out there. I have no idea how you get them, but
We know it's difficult because I know some of the members here applied for the grant and utilized Nate to submit that, and we were not successful. So
But I think there are different types because of Fairview's economic status, there may be special grants. Given the number of HUD housing units and all that sort of thing, there could be something special that we might qualify for.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, and tell them like we got a grant from the Motor Health Trailblazers for about $35,000. I don't know if they've used it yet because it was really hard to have. It was to do a playground, accessible playground, which is awesome, but it wasn't the whole playground.
Right.
That was the problem. But no, absolutely, there could be some grants. There could be all kinds of funding sources. I mean, one of the neat things about this is I think Noah, kind of a grassroots situation, he may be able to get people to donate because, you know, they see someone, a youth in our community that wants to be a part of it. That's pretty awesome. From the city side, the one thing we would have to do, of course, is work on a plan. And we have to have a master plan and make sure that we're looking at that. Something that, we've talked a little bit about before, our parks are beautiful. They're well taken care of. We have very nice walking paths and we have some nice playgrounds. Actually, some of them need to be replaced. But we don't have a lot of real active. And we also don't have a lot of parking. And so, you know, people come and they can't really park. I happen to look up on the internet just for fun, a little preserve, a city I used to work in, and then now added a nice parking lot at the front so people can come. It's little fishing preserves, kind of like our Salish Ponds. They added like 30 spots where people can park down, walk down there and fish. And those are the types of things I want to look at. I want to look at amenities and way people can use our amenities. But nevertheless, most importantly is looking at what no one wants to do. And so we kind of wanted to get together with you and see what your thoughts are. When you'd be able to talk to Noah and see if any questions for him. Because he's actually thought through this. He's got a lot of ideas.
When you looked at the price for this, is it for 2 side-by-side courts or is that estimate for 1 court?
Okay, so we were looking at various. So Noah did some research, I did some research. We kind of came up anywhere from that 80,000 to 200,000. 200,000, of course, is elaborate. You know, the fancy fencing, the fancy surface, the various hoops. So you have one, let's say it's a high school court, and then on the side you have maybe an adjustable hoop or a lower hoop for the smaller visitors. So, and Noah was looking at more just kind of the high school court with maybe some various Because you could go real elaborate with the hoops or, you know, kind of your basic standard, city park hoop. And so we were looking at just a little bit of variations.
Did anybody talk to Play East?
Hyro was part of this too. Yes. Oh, he was in favor.
Of course.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who's drawing it?
Right now, then that was part of the cost too, is the design.
Okay.
And maybe we could get somebody to fund a part of that, or not fund, but donate their time, whether it's a Kittleson or someone like that, to get their name on the banner too. So again, just another thought, but outdoor courts, I mean, there's so many different variations of design out there. Really, we'd have to do some groundwork, as you know, make sure we have a good sub base. But once you get that, pretty much it's kind of endless on what you could do.
Well, I'm an elder at Smith Memorial Presbyterian Church, and our pastor is real sports minded. Pastor Brad, I think, is close to 7 feet tall, and his son is even taller than that. And I could approach the church and see if they'd be willing to pony up some money somehow to maybe get the ball rolling. You know, I live down by Lakeshore Park, and when Lakeshore Park was first thought of, all it was a big dirt pile. And I thought that they were going to build a basketball court, but what happened was a lot of the residents, since they didn't build a basketball court, their basketball courts were along the street,
Yeah.
which I was really worried about, you know, especially with car coming down and going to chase a ball or something like that and accidentally get hit. So that kind of bothered me. So yeah, let me talk to the church and see if I can get something going.
Yeah. Like I said, we
This
just
is a
wanted,
really good neighborhood for it, right?
yeah, Noah approached staff, and we thought, as a staff, would be great if he came to Prac and just kind of presented it, see what kind of where we're at. Maybe thumbs up, yeah, allocate some time and effort towards it, or if it was a clear no.
Oh, well, this is the kind of thing we've been trying to get more of, right?
Okay, so I don't want to take too much of your time. So it sounds like we have.
Do you have a vision of full length court? Or half? We're talking about.
Don't.
You want to go answer that one?
Yeah, I think it could really go either way. Could be a full length court, maybe that spans the length of the gazebo. They're the length of the gazebo.
Okay.
I think that would fit in nicely, or even 2 half courts side by side, one for some of the smaller or shorter people who would like to come play, and then maybe a regulation size hoop.
One thing I might suggest, and I've never seen this in a park, but when you really play basketball, you want a ball return on it because you want to be able to shoot your 500 shots a night just serenely and really do it right. And that would be to actually put a lane adjacent to it where you could have a basket at either end with those ball returns so that you can really nail them. Be really good practice.
Yeah.
The more people get to use it that way.
That's a good idea.
I think that's part of that endless,
Yeah.
options, and I think that is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I guess, do I have a motion that Prac supports this and you want to move forward? Do you need that?
I mean, I think it would be nice to just get some,
Make sure it's all consensus, make sure we have. support.
yeah, and if not, that's fine, but
Yeah. And want me to draft?
I actually have something to say
Okay.
about this,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't feel that this is serving all of the children of our community when more of our children do wheels. I think that I'm sorry, I think that a skate park would serve more of our children. Because our little kids are on more wheels. Our parents are gonna be able to use it. I've seen parents use it with their strollers. I've seen the little kids use it on their trikes. I've seen the little kids use it with their little bikes. And clear up to the teenagers being able to use it. So I feel that more kids are gonna get more use out of a skate park than they are out of a basketball court. I think more kids are gonna be wanting to use it than more kids that like basketball. To be honest.
My only concern with that, and, you know, I see where you're coming from, is,
Safety on either side, whether you're playing basketball or whether you have a skate park.
well, I'm talking about liability.
Liability at a basketball court though too.
Yeah, not like you would at the skate park. My opinion.
We have one in Tillamook.
Yeah.
It's trouble.
They're
The
all
center
over.
has
Yeah,
one,
you're
the
right.
center has one. The center, and the center's, you know, not much bigger than we are, and they have a nice little one.
No,
That's also on the list of things we've been trying to get.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
skate park at Lincoln City is fantastic. The Volcom House is very, very close to it, or at least it used to be. I think it's still there. It's fantastic, but that was paid for exclusively by skateboarders for skateboarders. There's still a possibility of it.
And I know Tony Hawk Foundation has a great program. The problem is you have to have a design. If you have a design, Tony Hawk Foundation will build your skate park.
Wow,
That's what I ran into at Wood Village. They had a skate park in their parks master plan. We went through the whole Tony Hawk Foundation and they would not fund it because we didn't have a design. They said, if you had a design, we would build it.
Okay, well, it sounds like this
I
isn't
understand this
even-
mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be an either or. I like the idea, because you can't build a skate park actually where you're asking for the ballpark to be, or the basketball park to be, or not. And I don't want it to be an either or, but I don't want us to say that, you know, just because now we've got a ballpark going on, that we're going to put other things aside and not think even of a skate park. Because I think we still have good places for a good skate park around. There.
Right,
So again, sorry to interrupt, Chair, but you do have your 2026 work plan and
Yeah.
project list.
All right,
yeah, we won't forget about
That
that.
discussion that,
because I'm liking the idea of funding, and I don't see why we can't fund it the same.
Yeah, I think for the purpose of tonight, Noah has worked really hard on his proposal. So he wanted to come pitch that to you. And absolutely, and I see the same thing. I mean, we could take
We've
a,
been talking about the skate park.
And the dog park.
I'm all
Yes, and the
for it.
dog park.
I'm all for it. We
I
have,
don't see them as mutually exclusive.
Right.
correct.
I think they
agree.
would come from different funds. The people who play basketball are not necessarily the people who skateboard, and vice versa. I think the funding would come from different places.
Who do you see being the person in charge of this project?
No.
it would be Public Works.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, so.
probably I would be the contact.
You want to take that?
Yes,
off?
I am.
There's a lot of steps to get there, but.
Oh, yeah.
I think the idea is, you know, do you like his idea? It should be here to him. We thought it was great internally. But,
You've got
we got a lot to look at.
3 or 4 of us saying, sounds like a good idea.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time
Do you have a
tonight.
motion about?
I think we should do it to get it on record, so I make a motion that PrAC support Noah and John in their efforts to investigate and put in a basketball court in city,
Add it to the list of things.
this community park, what's gonna.
Yes.
Fairview Community.
Second.
I guess we've already had the discussion, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Okay.
Is
We have our
it?
marching orders. Noah, you and I will become good friends. I'll let you know. We'll have to have a few meetings, discuss next steps. Right. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sue.
Okay, Yes, but it's two side by
You're welcome to
side.
stay if you
Right.
want to.
And
It's up to you.
there's only so much that you can do.
So it's
So like the full would be green.
The marsh.
And also, you know,
Yeah, skateboard too.
to get there.
Thank you.
Look at that.
So much,
I know.
so much for mutual
Cause I still
exclusivity.
got kids where I live bugging me about this.
Yes.
I'm not joking you.
Which park do you live
You
in?
live at Fairview.
Design it. Have kids design it. Put it together. Well, let's
That's gonna be one of those real professional designs.
set up a meeting,
You
like
find
do
everybody in
drawings.
Yeah.
Have the kids like write up a list of things. they do.
Like, that's a good idea, but yeah.
all right,
they're
we're
all-
coming in Nathan's time. right?
Okay.
That should be something we can brainstorm on, who can
Yeah.
work on design, is
Like
something that, Mount Hood CAD students can do? No, I don't know. Okay, next on the agenda, continue discussions, meeting schedule, expectations with city manager Nathan Jones.
Well, as I recall, I didn't read the minutes, but this was, I almost said the council. The board asked me to return so you could have a continued discussion with what I was discussing last time. So I guess I'm really here, the next update I will give you is that I'm going to take to the council a work session. We're going to talk about advisory boards. I want to really make sure we're looking at the roles of advisory boards and, you know, being able to match council's goals and just in general. So we have several advisory boards. So this general conversation about all of our advisory boards. It's going to be here on the agenda here in I think a month or two. I don't remember exactly what, but we have it set internally for staff. But you know, kind of, I think helping to refocus the advisory committees so they have a better understanding of what the purpose is. I think, and this is just my opinion of the past, but I think the advisory boards are committed with a lot of great intent. And I don't think there's been a lot of guidance, like, hey, this is how you can focus, where you can go. Because I you know, the cities I worked in, advisory boards had specific purposes. For example, the largest city I worked in, it's largest, it's about the size of Gresham now, but so we had an advisory board for parks and rec, and what they would do, they would actually then every time the city was developing a park, it came before the board. The wasn't, I don't remember the name of it. It was like the PRAC board. They would actually review plans. They would solicit input, like, hey, you know, this looks good. How about this? Have you considered this? And they were in that role where they were helping provide the information, community perspective, so that when staff took that to council, then they could say, hey, has it been through the park board? Yeah, it's been through the park board suggested this, staff agrees, staff doesn't agree, I mean, whatever that is. And then council can look at that and make an informed decision. So there's lots of areas like that. So I'm just talking in general, but this is all of our advisory boards trying to figure out really, you know, if we have a public safety board, or we have a community board, or we have a park board, you know, what are our boards doing? How are they advising? Because I don't want people to feel like they're wasting time. Well, I know you won't care because you're here. You care because you're here. So it's like, let's figure out how that's going to work. How does that board help advise the council on how to move forward in the city? Because ultimately, council makes legislative decisions, and I make executive decisions, and the whole idea is to work together. So that's the bigger discussion.
But we have fulfilled that role in the past.
Yeah, it's not
That's
like,
just you're saying that,
yeah, I can see that.
I mean, there's not that many parks being approved, you know, but we want to improve.
Well, that's perfect. That's good.
That's something.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like.
Discussion.
I've actually been out in the parks, looking at the play equipment, determining what would work well, going through the.
Oh, we went over
catalogs.
to the drawings for Lakeshore Park
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the
That's
equipment that
great.
went in there. Yeah.
That we do.
That's great.
But as I recall, Councilman Marker is the one who asked specifically if you could come back. So I think we should give him
Right.
The floor.
a floor for a minute to say, what did you see that you think wasn't covered in our last 30-minute discussion?
Absolutely.
Well,
You have the whole floor.
yeah, what I notice going to city council meetings, to be really brutally honest with you, there isn't very many council members. When the mayor turns around and says, because council reports and stuff like that, not a lot of councilors say anything. You know, which would lead one to believe that nothing's going on in their particular field. I mean, for myself, and I don't mean to use myself as a example, but I've always got something to say about this committee, always do. Okay, and I think the mayor likes hearing about that, and I'm sure you probably do too, as a city manager, knowing that something's going on, so. What I feel is, I feel that we need to get some of these other boards and committees going. So that, you know, it seems like something is being done.
Mm.
And one thing I learned a long time ago, when I got my little award, Mayor Toster turns around and says, the city of Fairview would never get all their work done if we didn't have volunteers. And I really believe that 100%. So that's what I think should happen.
Yes.
Steve, do you think that in the past that we've sort of had an agenda and we've worked through that agenda as a Parks Committee? Seems to me we've reviewed plans, we've had a lot of different discussions in the last couple of years. There's been no money, so it's not like there's been a whole lot of decision making, but back when there was money, yeah.
That's right, and that's a problem, that we don't have money to do things that we would probably like to do. And Nathan, you know that we've got a council goals list, and we haven't really looked at that lately. For the simple fact is I really don't think that we have the money to do anything to make it go. Okay, in other words, the wheels are stopped.
Our
And
goals are
we're
not.
just kind of stuck. Yeah,
Well, I do think there's a certain amount of I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Well, I mean, in light of that, there's $625,000 of local share money that the city has. That,
Is it in the park?
I actually have update on.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
and we're gonna
right.
talk about the work
Exactly.
plan,
And we
so.
started talking about Salish Ponds for that at the time when we first got that
it's
money.
something that
The city
would
first got it.
fall into this committee's review.
Okay.
You know, not necessarily public safety or, you know, or thing, it's gonna fall into this committee, and that's a big.
there was also a lot of wish list items that this committee, not only this committee, but other committees wanted to do, and because of the money situation, it didn't happen.
And I also think we've done a lot of listing, like our parks. When we went to Pelfrey Park and we set up our displays, and we took people's opinions on what they thought would be helpful with this and that, and even generalized it to the city as a whole. But there's a certain amount of education and listening that I've always thought was the duty of this committee, to bring back what your community is telling you, share with everybody else, and then have a presence at something like Fairview on the Green or whatever it is that you are doing, whatever the city is doing, be a part of it and educate people about what's available. You'd be surprised how many people don't even know the major parks in Fairview. I mean, I stood over there for hours or partially sat and stood at the parks booth, and it was amazing to me how many people
Nobody had any
didn't
ideas.
know some of the most basic parks.
Oh, yeah.
They were standing there, so the city park was pretty obvious. Beyond that, they lived here several years and had no idea. That's always been my idea of a part of what our charge is.
Any other questions? I'm good with. We've streamlined our meeting schedule.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
We need to understand how we don't go to sleep for 4 months.
That's
Right.
actually,
Yeah,
that's actually
Yeah.
the problem.
You know,
yeah,
hibernate.
Where'd that come from?
right, honestly,
There's momentum that's lost.
right, if you
Gotcha.
don't have meetings and I don't see you, then I forget that you exist.
And we still
You shouldn't
didn't break
drink from
any rules,
Yeah.
and by communicating, you know, that's what
Mm.
I'm unsure of, you know, what if I send an email? Can I send an email?
Right. Can you send an email to everyone?
Yeah, Nathan and John need input on this basketball issue.
You can always, you can send an email to everybody. What I do with the council is because it's not gonna be as big a deal because this is an advisory committee. You don't have the authority to spend money and direct the city manager on that, but just what I do for council is anytime I send them an email to all of them, I send it to myself, I blind carbon copy, and I put on there a document that says I blind carbon copy the council. And the reason for that is simply for public records in Oregon, for not only public records, but to make sure that there's completely no way that anybody could interpret that I was receiving direction or that we have an illegal public meeting. So like if I send it to the council, one of them writes back and says, hey, maybe we should do this. And then two other people chime in and say, yeah, we should. Then we have a public meeting, which is illegal.
Yeah.
And we can't do that. And Oregon is very strict on their ethics laws. And so then I'm in trouble and council's in trouble and it could just be that bad. So what I do is I personally blind carbon copy the council and I send to myself. And then that way, if they want to respond, they can respond directly to me. But that just makes sure we don't, I had this happen once. I had a council and, I sent an email. Next thing I know, they're like, oh yeah, we should look at that. And then, whoa, wait a minute, we can't. Unfortunately, one of them jumped in and said, no, you can't do that. We're in Oregon. You have to be really careful. So I don't think it's as big a deal. You can send over, if it became an issue where people jumping in and say, we should do all this, then we really are not having a public meeting. And I realize there's not a lot of people who come to advisory committee, but nevertheless, we have to meet laws. For example, now, ever since the end of COVID-19 era, Oregon law now requires that we broadcast all of our meetings electronically, which is a good idea anyway, but I was doing it well before that. But so, yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And what I'm talking about in the advisory board, I love the ideas that you're talking about, Lynette, Holly, what you're talking about doing. It's just trying to put together what I like is structure. And, one of the things we have now, it's a little bit different than the past because John is over parks, of course, being public works. We don't actually have a parks department, but he takes care of the parks. Then we have a recreation department. In the past, we didn't have a recreation department, so there actually wasn't a recreation. Now we have a recreation. Jairo is a recreation director. He's responsible for two programs. One is Pleased. That's one program. He has a full-time person to do that. And he also has a full-time person to do recreation events for the city. And she also works on Pleased as well. She doesn't just do that. But so we have a 3-person department now, whereas when I first got here, we had a 1-person department. Now we have a 3-person department. So we're trying to work on building a structure. So, having that recreation side, Jairo's responsible for recreation. My vision is as we build this, we got a long ways to go, but as we build our parks, as we build facilities where we can actually house programs, inside programs, then actually our recreation department, Parks is taking care of and building those, our recreation department is actually doing this. So right now, Play East is a fantastic program. It is, with the exception of our community center, which has got a lot of problems, and one field over in Wood Village, everything is subbed out. So sometimes organizations volunteer, sometimes we pay for it, but every single thing that happens in someone else's building. And I think about a time when we actually have our own building and we can do our own programming and we have places to do these things, or we have some basketball facilities, you have a skate park, you have actual futsal or soccer. I mean, there's fields that people can play ball. There's a lot of things we have wonderful parks, but I think we can figure out some other things too. But it's going to take time and money. But my thought is to kind of and my council discussions aren't going to be super specific on the advisory. It's going to be more of a, in general, getting us all thinking about what does the advisory board do. I really like the idea of, like Lynn said, meeting out there, gathering info for the community. What does the community want as far as parks? What reviewing those parks when we have reviewing ideas, hearing ideas about basketball, hearing ideas about a skate park. I love futsal, soccer.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Dog parks are big.
From people that live in the apartments, they want a dog park. They would like a place where they could go and let loose their dogs and not just have to walk dogs on a leash.
Yeah, it's interesting, the apartment complex, do they own a bunch of land? Do they donate all to the city for the other park, the park over there behind?
No, they own quite a bit.
To say they can build their own dog park, but anyway.
I don't know, Fairview doesn't own it, Fairview Farms doesn't own it, somebody, maybe another apartment complex.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what's the park over there? By Ben Pointers.
Bridge,
Fairview Oaks and Woods.
Oh,
Fairview Woods.
Fairview Woods, there's some significant amount of property that's owned by the apartment complex that could build their own.
They were trying to build one where the power lines are. And, remember that? And, that got squashed.
The dog park.
Who squashed it?
Our company.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules for designing things under the power lines is really bust.
no, I'll bet, yeah.
There's one in
The
Washington,
first time that it was squashed by the
under
neighbors.
the power lines. The dog
I don't-
park.
Well, the first time was probably over 20 years ago. It was a great idea. And I learned my lesson on that. I will not get involved with the dog park under the power lines. The neighbors down that line came unglued.
So say there's a
You
lot.
know how that was a skate park, you might have something with even a basketball court here, you might have
Oh,
some.
remember the discussion we had over the
Pickleball?
pickleball and how loud it is?
Pickleball's really loud. Basketball courts are loud too.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's, I think we can move on. 2026 work plan and project list, we were kind of drifting into that area anyway. So I thought of like, explore funding options for basketball court, skate park, dog park, or other amenities for the city.
Replacing old equipment. We noticed some here when we were at very long marine, some of the equipment needed some of the chains here need to be replaced on the equipment out here.
So we're exploring funding.
Are we
Somebody
developing?
came and told us,
Wait, no, how did they determine? That's what I'm asking.
and I went and took pictures of it actually, and who did we show it to?
I know what you're talking about. Yes, there was a guy who came by and.
We showed it to, did we show it to the mayor?
I think we showed it to Corey, Public Works.
Okay,
Maybe it was, maybe you went off down to talk to the mayor. I can't remember exactly.
we showed somebody in city council, some mayor, or the mayor, or somebody important. Yes, we did.
Might have been Corey, I can't remember.
I can't remember either now, but we did somebody or City Works or something, yeah. That might have been, I think you're right, we showed Corey.
Somebody came up and they found something out there that they were concerned might hurt somebody. It's not a huge issue, but it was a concern.
But things like that might want, again, reviewing the parks, going around and checking equipment might be a good idea. Making sure it's all
Are we
safe.
developing the work plan right here or
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Correct.
correct.
That's the thing we're supposed to do.
Project list, it says work plan and project list, a
Oh, it's-
project could be.
I sort
If
of,
you, Chair, if you don't mind, so annually, it says in the charter that you are supposed to, as a committee, come up with a work plan and project list that is then presented to city council, I believe, February. I believe in February, and that's really, again, that's where I was getting a bit confused last year with the work plan and presenting it to council is there was no mention of the fishing event. So again,
Okay.
this might be the time if you want to put that in.
Yes,
So
Add
again,
it to the list.
and that's,
to the list.
again, that's just one of those.
Who's got this
But-
list?
But I can tell you that
Right, you're making this for our work plan and our project list?
going back to projects, okay, in the biennium last year, there was a project that was to replace some park equipment, and if you recall, that was shot down here. So, just saying.
Well, the way I was always told that this is supposedly supposed to work, okay? Is the council has their council goals, okay? The committee feeds off of the council goals. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, so technically, they can't really turn around and do anything until
Do we use last,
we have council goals.
like,
I mean, that's how I look at it,
that's definitely the way public safety works.
right?
Why can't we be proactive and put things on a list and maybe one of those things
I
to
think
go
we
to
could do
council
that.
goals?
You can.
That's where you talk to your council liaison and say, this is what I want to do. And then when we have our council goals session upstairs, we can put that in there.
Again, I'm just this is a recommendation of staff. Just so when the first of the year comes around, and according to the charter, you as a PrAC committee are supposed to submit your work plan and projects to council that
And that happened in February,
typically is right around that February.
and our next meeting is in January.
That's why I'm bringing it up now. Again,
Can we
Walt and
Can we start that list?
start the list? Can we suggest that you do the email with the BCC thing that Nathan was talking about?
Well, the problem is, we'll all email directly back to John, but then John can't
So John has.
put it all out to us again, can you?
No, John,
I can.
he can compile it and send it out to you. That's not a problem.
Okay, so each one of us will do our
Yeah.
list.
Can you check in with us in between now and January,
Absolutely.
please?
So what do,
Hey, let's try to get more things on the list.
Yeah.
As opposed to coming here in January and having,
Right, well, that's what I was
30
thinking about,
days.
like send,
Well, the other option is we can have a subcommittee too.
oh,
so I would like fishing day on there on the list, thank you.
that's on there.
Okay,
so the basketball thing is on the list and the skate park thing is on the,
and the dog park is on the list.
Yeah, I put explore funding options for basketball court, skate park and dog park.
okay.
You could put funding / design option, I guess. With the-
Yeah. I mean,
That's good.
That's
I've got
a lot.
to have kids design skate park. I'm gonna put that up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I may not, get to them till next summer.
I mean,
but
it's super impressive to
Yeah.
have a member of the
Yeah.
public show up with an idea.
So, and even if we don't get to it till, next year, at least now I know what I need to do. If I can't get them all together till next year, but still.
Hey, what about the chair? What,
I have it here if you don't
Okay.
mind, Chair. So Metro Local Share, that was derived from 2019 Parks and Nature Bond. So City of Fairview was pre-approved for $640,683. And it looks like based on the 2021, 2023 Public Works Director Barry, it was the East Salish Pond area was what the project was. I don't know, Lena, if you recall that.
I've probably got notes on it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yes, we all went over there
Mhm.
and
And-
looked at things and I
And
think.
that was actually a resolution to council back in 2023.
I know that we had people from the watershed committee with us as well, talking about how they might be able to put in an interpretive center out kind of sort of in the wetland area. And some of the different things that we could do in terms of.
but that was on Alan's
information
radar too, was a,
So the plan, the timeframe on this, so we have to be under agreement, so an intergovernmental agreement with Metro by June 30, 2026.
Wow.
Then we have 10 years to spend that money.
Okay.
So again, that's the time. It's not like we're rushing to all of a sudden, but just so you know, but the project that was pre-approved per Alan Berry, which he presented it was resolution to council was the Salish Pond area,
Okay,
specific to East
okay,
Salish Pond.
yeah,
so
that
that
was,
has to be the project.
I think that should be a priority on,
That needs to be on the list.
Put it on the list, is what he's saying.
I would keep it on that list.
right, yeah.
Okay,
So that was, Alan's the one, was the big guy pushing that.
Well, I'm just saying, it went to council and it was approved.
so
Bring
what
him
do
up
we
to
need?
date on that. Alan was
Alan was the
100%
one
behind,
at the
that was
time
pushing that.
that money became available. He was Public Works Director.
So what exactly do we need to do?
I think it just should be on your work plan to have future discussions as to what that project looks like
All of it will look
and a
like.
recommendation.
So we need to make a design recommendation.
Like I said, I will pull up and share the 2023 resolution that was approved by city council when Alan Berry presented it. And it kind of goes into detail some of
And
the,
we can make changes if we
I mean,
No,
we're
not
gonna have,
major, but-
we're gonna have to complete an application, so it'll be discussions that will happen in the springtime.
Okay,
So I'm just bringing it up because it is important. It's $640,000.
Okay.
I think that should be, I would recommend that be on your.
January.
You
meeting,
have to present for that an actual conceptual plan,
that's what I was asking.
nothing designed, just conceptual.
No, because they're basing it off of pre-approval. We basically have to meet certain criteria.
Can you put a copy of whatever that is?
I can share it with you all.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other things to throw on the draft list for the work plan project list?
Nothing comes to mind immediately. You have several months before our next meeting.
Right.
So if we could email ideas, if they pop
I'm
up.
not sure if you go on there or not, but I know the city has efforts to becoming a tree city,
Yes.
USA.
I mean, really, there's not much that needs to be done still.
I'm not even going there.
Okay.
Where I'm going is, the city owns this property. Property the city owns. I think they should lead by example and plant trees on their own property.
Okay.
Areas that are lacking trees,
Oh,
areas that trees have died and fallen over, and nothing's been planted in place. That's all. Salish Ponds, Lakeshore Park.
Wouldn't that be a project?
I'm just,
Somebody
that's
just
what I'm throwing, that's not an enormous project, but I'm just
But I
saying,
would say put that on our project list.
that was what I'm throwing out, I'm trying to get support from.
I think that's a great idea. I think
Okay.
that's awesome.
didn't some employee or temporary, do like a street tree analysis or like a?
Yeah.
Didn't somebody
know,
like count all the trees where they need?
I know Multnomah County is,
Yeah.
wanting to find out about what's going on with tree business. Has Multnomah County came back to us and said anything about it?
Not that I'm aware of.
No?
That's all, I just want, it's not a large
I'll
area,
have to talk to Sarah.
Okay,
and you plant trees, from November to February,
right, because then you don't got water. Well, maybe next November, not this November. Okay,
So maybe support the city's vision on Tree City USA.
yeah,
That's how you would work that.
Well, my question is, Tree City USA exclusively on city property?
No,
Um, I have a real problem with people telling me what to do on my property regarding trees.
well, I mean, it's just, an educational.
If it's educational, if you're planting trees on public property, I think that's really fine. I think regulating trees on private property, I think you go too far.
Yeah, Tree City USA just has program guidelines. We have to do certain things to promote trees.
For the whole time.
Yeah, we were Tree City USA in Tillamook, and what we did was we planted like 4 trees on city property once a year. There was just basically some basic requirements we did, maintained so much greenery space, and it's nothing to do with private property, so it's
Okay.
public property. It's,
But they do provide pamphlets
through planning
to
and.
residents.
yeah, it's through
It'll still be the street tree,
right,
it's kind of private property.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
you're actually in the PUE, aren't you?
you're talking about
Well, you still have the street tree,
in the right of ways.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's different than private property. I mean, that's.
That's different than private property.
Yeah, your right of way is like in front of my house, there's a huge tree that probably needs to be removed eventually.
Yeah,
Those are the trees that are the issue. Or not the issue, that is, although our code requires that the property, joining property is responsible for it.
Right.
That is right of way, so we do have a say in that, but Linda's talking about anything on your property line, that's your property.
when a project comes before the planning commission, then we do have say in significant trees, and that's the same size. But that's only like when redevelopment happens.
And then riparian area.
Yeah.
This isn't Washington State where they actually
Yeah.
take pictures of your tree cover and they go find dig up trees.
I have a question
That happened to one of my dad's neighbors.
concerning the planning commission. Let's say there was something that come up, has something to do with parks and stuff like that. Would you guys all of a sudden turn around and let parks know, hey, listen, this came up at a meeting, you know, and I think maybe we should all discuss it. Understand where I'm leading?
Things don't really come before the
No.
planning
I don't.
commission that way.
I've been on the committee for almost 10 years and we've never had.
Yeah, no, if the city had a project that they wanted to do in the parks, then it would come before the planning commission, but
Yeah,
yeah, we don't have anything like that. going on.
Okay,
The planning commission is like quasi judicial. They're actually making decisions based on land use,
right,
their recommendations on land use.
okay.
So it's very specifically for that purpose.
Right, but we do talk about trees.
Yeah,
well,
Open discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like some feedback on Fairview on the Green.
Well,
We need our own stuff.
but next year, we're gonna do things very differently.
Right.
We are not going to be in the position where, I mean, we had treats for everybody.
They wanted the
But we
ladies
borrowed from the
Public
Public
Safety.
Engagement
Oh.
Committee,
and public.
decorations. We tablecloths and decorations, and then we borrowed from Public Safety, I guess they gave it to us. Certain things to hand out related to the police department. And then we talked about parks. Next year, we've got to have a display. We've got to
Right.
get this together and have our own stuff. And the single most popular thing at the booth are leis. We learned that those were
Everybody
our
wanted those.
decorations. Everybody wants the leis.
But we had to give them back to wherever. we
Yeah,
borrowed
the leis
them.
weren't
Public
ours.
engagement.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But we had a lot of people stop by, and like she said, a lot of people didn't know about our parks. We had information to share with them, they had information to share with us. I thought it went really well.
Actually, the
It was fun.
engagement part
So
of
it should
it
be on the
really
project
well.
list.
It should be on the project list and maybe have a subcommittee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a little game for the kids.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have a little game for the kids next year. Also, so yeah, and like you said, we wanna have more for our own booth.
Yeah, so we need to
Yes.
have some better.
It needs its own identity.
Yep.
I think Public Works and Parks should merge. Because Public Works has always had really good static, you guys still got that static display? For the water and stuff like that, well, that would come right up Parks' alley, because we have a lot of parks that are near wetlands, and we deal with a lot of wetlands and stuff like that, and I think that would be fantastic if we partnered with Public Works to turn around and do that. I think that'd be really good.
So Public Works had its own booth over here.
Mhm.
What would we put in parks to do that? I'm a little lost, because like, for example, Lakeshore Park, we do a display, would be in our parks booth. But Public Works sort of had its own thing going on, talking to.
That's why I'm saying if we merged, since his gang takes care of parks, just like we have to turn around and take care of parks. They have to mow the yard, dump the trash, all that other kind of stuff, okay? What we do is we try to look out for the parks to make sure that nobody trashes them, you know, and takes their vehicle and
Hey, we should.
Those donuts in our
That's
glass.
the idea of a subcommittee. I
Yeah.
think we should try to work these details out now, or
I think you're right.
we're gonna be here for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was very successful for
Okay, that's all.
Crack being,
Time.
being there for the first year.
First
So I think
time I
there
think
is room
it
for
was
improvement
successful,
and
yes.
room for growth and I think that's in the months to come, I think you all will do a wonderful job with it.
I thought the first time I did a very good job.
I think we've got some definite ideas of what to
Yeah.
do to make it.
Any other open discussion? I have one, so I recovered the bike spray.
Okay.
Extra park, somebody threw it in a lake. So I stopped on my way here and put it back in.
Okay,
And I did give Corey a sign about blue
Yes.
algae to put up.
yes.
And
Did he not put it up
it's
yet?
not up.
Okay,
I was just gonna ask you the status of,
So we've tested twice and both came up, well, well below the human advisory level. But both exceed the dog level. Now, the dog level for one of the toxin is 0.03 parts per billion,
wow,
that's not much.
wow,
so
keep your dogs up.
it's well below drinking water level. Okay, so technically you might not be able to give your dog drinking water. If the full run has a little bit of,
Okay.
so it's kind of. I'm not going there,
That's
I've had
interesting.
that debate with them before,
Okay, thanks, Bob.
but yeah, I'm trying to get people out of your own time. Anything else? Only once, last chance for 4 months.
Oh my God. So people, please email each other.
Sure, hold it.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Motion carries.